Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're going on a pretty epic journey. We're diving deep into the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, what a great choice. I'm
Yeah?
excited to talk about this one. And I think this deep dive will be especially fun for everyone because we're going beyond just the surface level.
Exactly. And to help us get into those deeper levels, our source is Don't Panic, the absurd genius of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Right. And it's not just about the laughs with this book. I mean, there are a lot of those. But it's really about how Adams uses that humor to tackle these really profound questions about, like, humanity and the universe and everything.
Right. It's like he sneaks in these deep thoughts between the jokes. You're laughing one minute and then kind of staring off into space the next. So are you ready? Just started.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm strapped in. Let's go.
All right, well, let's start right at the beginning. The book throws us into this vastness of space pretty quickly. Space is big, really big. I mean, we all know space is big, but Adams, he really, he drives that point home.
Yeah, he does. And he does it in a way that's, I think in a way that's both funny and kind of unsettling. Because it's like, once you start to actually grasp that scale, it makes you really question our place in all of it. Earth, all human history, it just shrinks down to almost nothing.
It really does. It's like that moment in the book when they demolish Earth to make way for like a hyperspace bypass. Oh, the indignity!
I know, right. A hyperspace bypass. I mean, what a ridiculous idea. But it really emphasizes that absurdity of assuming we're the center of everything.
Yeah, and it's so darkly funny. But there's a point there too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think it highlights a really crucial idea. The universe doesn't owe us meaning. And, that could be a terrifying thought for some people, but for others, it's actually incredibly freeing.
Yeah, it is. It's like he's saying, look how small and insignificant you are. Now go out there and do something interesting because none of it really matters anyway.
Exactly. And that leads us perfectly into the characters that inhabit this crazy universe.
Oh, the characters. They're just such a wonderful blend of the ordinary and the extraordinary. I mean, you've got Arthur Dent, who is just a regular guy trying to have a cup of tea while the world is ending.
Arthur, he's such a perfect example of how we as humans tend to cling to our routines, even in the face of total chaos.
Yeah. It's like the world's ending, but first, tea time.
Exactly. And then there's Zaphod Beeblebrox, the two-headed, three-armed galactic president, who is, well, he's basically all ego and impulsive decisions.
A truly larger-than-life personality. It's almost like Adams is, making fun of our fascination with celebrity and people in power.
For sure. And then you've got Marvin.
Oh, Marvin, the perpetually depressed robot.
Yeah, he's so intelligent and capable, but just so incredibly miserable.
I mean, who hasn't felt like Marvin at some point? Life. Don't talk to me about life. I think everyone's been there. It's funny, but there's this underlying sadness that resonates with anyone who's ever felt a little bit lost.
Yeah, and that really brings up a point I think that's super crucial to understanding Hitchhiker's Guide. It is hilarious. Don't get me wrong. It's really funny. But that humor, it often hides these really profound questions about, like, existence and consciousness and even, the meaning of life.
Yeah.
So we laugh, but then, I don't know about you, but I'm often left thinking, what did that joke actually mean?
Yeah, it sticks with you. It's like Adams is giving us permission to confront those big, scary ideas without falling into despair. We can laugh at how absurd it all is, and maybe that laughter helps us deal with all the unknowns.
Right. It's almost like he found this really clever way to make philosophy more accessible and enjoyable.
Which, that actually brings us to another pretty big question.
Mm-hmm.
The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything.
You're talking about 42, of course.
Yes, the infamous 42. Do you remember the first time you read the book and you were waiting for this grand, life-changing answer? And then you get 42.
It really is like a cosmic joke. But, the more you think about it, maybe that is the point. I mean, it's such a clever satire of our need to find meaning in absolutely everything.
So what does that actually mean, then? Is Adams saying the meaning of life is totally random and meaningless?
Well, here's a thought. Maybe by giving us this really simple, almost absurd answer, Adams is actually pushing us to define meaning for ourselves. Like, what if, instead of searching for some external source or, some big unifying theory, maybe the meaning of life is just what we've decided it is?
So instead of focusing on finding the right answer, maybe we should focus on, on the journey of discovering our own personal truths.
Yeah, maybe that's the point. Life's not an equation that needs solving. We can't just plug it into a giant computer and expect a nice, neat answer. Sometimes the most important thing is to keep asking questions, keep exploring, keep searching, and keep laughing along the way.
And to all of you listening, what are those big questions that you're thinking about? And maybe even more importantly, are you enjoying the search for those answers? Even if they turn out to be just as, I don't know, as elusive and as absurd as the number 42.
It's a good question to think about. And speaking of thought-provoking things, let's move on to another really interesting part of Hitchhiker's Guide that makes you stop and think. The satire. Adams weaves this brilliant satire throughout the whole story.
Yeah, the satire. It's like he took all of the frustrating and ridiculous things we deal with in our everyday lives and just made them hilarious and weirdly relatable.
He really did. He had this knack for finding the absurdity in the most mundane stuff, like the Vogons.
Oh, the Vogons.
Those bureaucratic aliens that are just obsessed with paperwork and regulations and just, tedious rules.
Oh my gosh. It's funny you mentioned that. I was at the DMV the other day and it felt like I was on a Vogon spaceship. Just endless forms and long lines and this general sense of just inefficiency. It was pure Vogon bureaucracy.
Right. We all know that feeling. It's that universal experience of dealing with systems that seem designed to make your life as difficult as possible. And Adams just captures it perfectly. He turns that frustration into something we can all laugh at.
Yeah, but it's not just the Vogons either. Like, what about the Improbability Drive? The thing that powers the Heart of Gold spaceship. And that whole concept is just ridiculous. It allows the ship to, jump through space and time just by embracing randomness.
It's almost like a metaphor for life itself, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
We all have our plans and our routines, but so much of what happens is just completely out of our control.
Right. It's like you can plan all you want, but sometimes those unexpected detours end up being the most interesting parts of the journey. And I kind of think we could all benefit from a little bit more improbability drive in our lives.
Maybe we could. Now, speaking of things that can help us navigate the chaos of the universe, well, we can't forget about the towel.
The towel, right, of course. More than just a way to dry off after a nice galactic shower.
More than that. So much more. You see, in the Hitchhiker's Guide, the towel is presented as the single most important item for any interstellar hitchhiker.
Right. It's almost like a badge of honor, If you see someone with a towel, they're resourceful and adaptable and they're ready for anything.
Absolutely. It's a sign that they're prepared, that they're resilient.
But I think it's more than just practicality, though. I think the towel represents a mindset.
What do you mean?
Well, it's about staying calm, even when things are going wrong. Because they will. Things are going to go wrong. And it's like the towel is there to remind you to embrace the absurdity of it all. Don't panic. Just laugh it off. And don't take yourself too seriously.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. And, that actually brings us to another really key point about the Hitchhiker's Guide. It's how relevant it still is. I mean, the book was written decades ago, but it feels like it could have been written yesterday.
Oh, totally. We're living in this time of constant change, right? Technology is advancing at warp speed. We're bombarded with information 24/7. It feels like the world is getting more chaotic and absurd by the minute.
Yeah, it's a lot like the universe that Adams created in the book. But you know what? His work reminds us that we can choose how we react to that chaos.
Right. We can choose to find the humor in it all.
Yeah, exactly. We can choose to learn from all of the unexpected things that happen.
And we can choose, most importantly, not to panic.
Don't panic. Solid advice. It's almost like Adams was writing for our time, for the age of the internet and social media and artificial intelligence.
I know. Can you imagine him trying to figure out social media with all the the performative outrage and everyone trying to present this perfect version of themselves?
Or think about AI. Remember Marvin, that depressed robot?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like the prototype for all of the AI anxieties we have today.
Oh, totally. He probably predicted it all. And don't even get me started on what he would say about climate change. The satire there would be both hilarious and just terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I really do think that ultimately Adams' message would be one of resilience. That even we're faced with these really, really big and scary challenges, we still have the power to find the humor, to find what to adapt. And to keep moving forward. It's really what makes Hitchhiker's Guide so great. It doesn't try to give us, any easy answers. It doesn't tell us what to think. It encourages us to embrace the unknown and to question everything and, just find our own way through all of the cosmic chaos.
Yeah, it's like he gives us the tools but not the instructions. Here's a towel, here's a sense of humor, Now go figure it out.
Exactly. And that seems to resonate with people, across generations from all walks of life. I think there's something about that combination of, humor and science fiction and just that philosophical pondering that really draws people in.
It definitely drew me in. And I think one of the things that I really appreciate about the book is how it encourages that sense of curiosity and wonder.
Oh, absolutely. It's like it reminds us of, that childlike fascination with the universe and all its mysteries and possibilities. It's something we tend to lose as we get older.
Yeah, we do. But Hitchhiker's Guide reminds us that it's okay to still ask those big questions, even if the answers are, kind of out there. It's more about the asking, the journey of trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, the journey is the destination, right? And maybe that's what makes this deep dive so fun. We're not just talking about a book. We're engaging with ideas and different perspectives, and hopefully we're sparking that curiosity in you, the listener.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our little trip through the galaxy, our journey with the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I have one last kind of thought-provoking question for everyone listening, and it's inspired by the book. So imagine if you could ask Deep Thought, that supercomputer that calculated the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything, if you could ask it one question, what would it be?
Interesting. Would you ask for the ultimate question itself? The one that actually explains what 42 means?
Yeah.
Or would you go in a completely different direction? Maybe something about the nature of consciousness or the future of humanity or even, I don't know, the best way to make a perfect cup of tea.
It's a good question, right? And it really speaks to how powerful Adams's writing is. Like, even after all these years, it still inspires us to think differently, to question everything and just find the humor in all of the unknown.
So to everyone listening, we'll leave you with this challenge. Keep your towel close by, don't panic, and never stop exploring that vast, hilarious, and sometimes just completely absurd universe that we call life. And hey, who knows? Maybe someday you'll find your own answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything.
And thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And remember, as Douglas Adams would say, so long, and thanks for all the fish.